Hello there guys, and welcome back to another update video with myself, Foorun. Now today we're going to be taking a look at what is coming in the update on the 15th of September 2016. Now there isn't a whole bunch that I can actually show you in game this week. There have been a lot of bug fixes, a lot of optimization going on, and some stuff about the cave system which we briefly touched on in last week's video. I'll go through that in a bit more detail at the end of this video. But the first thing that I have for you guys today is some changes to Ironsights. Now the first thing that I'm going to show you is the AK. The AK sights are now centered right into the middle of the screen, so you're not going to have any more issues with that being slightly off to the right hand side. Following that, we now have some new iron sights on the bolt action. As you will notice now down at the end of the barrel, it is no longer a thick metal piece, it is now a pointed metal piece. So it no longer blocks quite a big chunk of your target. It's now a lot easier to actually see your target, but it does look slightly wobblier. While we're on the subject of guns, we are going to be expecting a P250 nerf. This has been reported by Rustified, but you can't see anything in general around by looking across anything related to Rust. You can't see anything on the Rust Updates Twitter, but as we all know, Rustified do have a good connection with Rust and all of the guys over at Facepunch, so you can expect that this information is credible. As we all know, the P250 is very, very overpowered at the moment. The damage is comparable to some of the higher end weapons, and it has little to no recoil. We also have a fix to a bug that was causing some people to be the wrong gender or the wrong skin tone, and always having the name Blaster with a smiley face at the end. This bug has now been fixed, so everybody should appear as they should be, with the correct name, the correct gender, and the correct skin color. So that is really all I have for you in terms of stuff that is definitely coming this update, guys. There will more than likely be more stuff to come, so make sure that you do check the dev blog tomorrow night, and if you do have time, then make sure you're checking Rust Updates over on Twitter to see everything as it comes. But now we can talk about caves. It's something that was announced last dev blog. If you didn't read it, I'm going to bring it up now so you can have a look at it, and I will read through it for you. And I will tell you some of the things that they have added this week, and when in general we can be expecting these caves to be added. So here we have on screen what Vincent said in the last dev blog about natural caves. I started to work on natural caves. It's going to change a lot from the single cave we currently spawn on the map. What will be different? The new caves will require preparation work to get into. If you enter without health packs and less than full health, you will struggle and most likely die. Some caves will have no way of turning back, forcing you to continue. You will have to evaluate every jump you take as you travel deeper into the unknown. The same will be true of the entrances to caves. Some will let you resurface, others will force you to go on. Now you're probably thinking, how do I rejoin the surface then? That's where it gets interesting. There might be a few exit-only paths out of the cave network. Building will be allowed in certain cave rooms deep underground. Each building room will have its own exit path that can be owned by the base owner. An exit path will lead to a mechanical lift that will take you up a one-way shaft. Players who attempt to jump down that shaft to raid you will most likely die, unless they cleverly wait upstairs for you to use that lift. Preceding most of the building allowed pockets will be jumping puzzles with varying difficulty. Some caves might have several building allowed pockets, which means you will have to deal with neighbours. Sizes of the pockets allow you to build from a 2x2 foundation 2 high to a 4x4 foundation 3 high. The larger the pocket, the harder to defend it will be, typically exposing more of your walls to raiders. How is it better? It's going to offer a more balanced approach to underground base building for one, while making underground bases more exposed to raiding. It will still keep them relatively safe from attackers via the puzzles and death pits, and ultimately still provide the base owner with an exit route only he can use. You might also be confronted to other players living underground with you. It's going to be more fun and more deadly. So in terms of what's new with caves this week, in terms of what's gone into the branch, we've had caves, more puzzle rooms, grey box, which I can assume is just going to be more things that is really going to be thrown in your way to try and make it harder for you to get through the caves. We've also had models and textures added in there, including stalagmites. Now, I couldn't tell you the difference between a stalagmite and a stalactite. I assume they're not really differentiating between the two, and it will be the same model for both of them. It will just depend on where they are placed. We've also had a rock flat texture set. It's for the cave floors, so it's going to be a bit of a flatter texture for rocks. I'd assume it's going to be for those building rooms that we were just looking at. And then lastly, irradiated sacks textures. Now you can only imagine that these are going to be some kind of weird sacks or something like that. Something weird that's going to be hanging around in these caves. Possibly we'll be able to gather it for something. We'll only be able to find out with time. So I'd definitely say to go and take a look at the dev blog tomorrow night to make sure you find out exactly what is going on with these irradiated sacks. So now you're going to be asking, when is this going to be coming? Now, if you look at this, we're halfway through this month, and typically big things like this will need a map wipe to be implemented, so you can expect this to be coming out next month. The first update of next month will be the 6th of October, which is actually 3 weeks from tomorrow's update, which would give them another week or two to be testing with this before they push it out to be tested on pre-release and then further on to staging. So if this hits pre-release in the next 2 weeks, we can be expecting this in October. If it doesn't, then you can probably expect we will not get it until November. So that is everything I have for you today then, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, make sure that you hit that like button. And if you would like to see more content, then make sure that you are subscribed. Now don't forget to go and check the dev blog tomorrow to make sure that anything that I haven't been able to cover in this video, you still get the full information. And also just to pique your interest in terms of what will be coming in the caves, because the developers can always tell you more than I can. Don't forget that you can also check up with Rust updates over on Twitter to get the updates as they are added. So that is all then, guys. Thank you very much. Have a good day.